I'd like to welcome you to the EB-PAC. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this beautiful facility. My name is Dr. Gaskell. I'm the principal of Hammersholt Middle School. Be sure to stay for the tour of this magnificent building and meet some of our very own outstanding faculty and students who are here this evening. And at this time, it is my pleasure to welcome Board President Dr. Brad Cohen.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here this evening and to the East Brunswick public school system. The question I'm always asked is, why is East Brunswick always so good? Why has the reputation of this school been this good for so long? And I have to say that the reason, the number one reason that we have maintained the excellence, which it's our motto, excellence in academics, athletics, and the arts, is primarily for one reason. It is for the people that are in the room here right now, because I have patients that come in to the office all the time, ask me where I live. I say I live in East Brunswick, and it takes them 5 milliseconds to say, oh, good schools. It is what we're known for. It is, and that's not new. The township and the people that moved here out of the cities from the urban districts moved out to suburban areas, and East Brunswick had, even from that point in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, tried to distinguish themselves by promoting its educational system. If you look at the seal of the town, right in the center is the word education. So clearly, this is a school system and an excellence that we've inherited, and it's our job to pass that on. But it all starts with those individuals that are in this room who have made the commitment, pay the higher taxes, but demand a good school system. And that's our job on the board to make sure that we keep to that commitment. And I think we've done a pretty good job. Some of the challenges that we face in the next couple of years is the fact that a lot of the other districts and a lot of the requirements are forcing the bar to constantly be risen even higher. And we need to do that. We have been a blue ribbon school district. All 11 of our schools were the only district in the state of New Jersey that could say that all 11 schools are blue ribbon schools. But those blue ribbons are now 15 to 20 years old. We need to move forward and to redefine what the curriculum of the next century involves and entails, and make sure that we provide for you an education that you're committed to and that is representative of your commitment to this town. One of the biggest projects that we're looking at doing next year is in that line is a strategic plan. Any large corporation does that on a regular basis. They need to figure out where they're going. Their horizon can't be so far that it is unreasonable. It can't be so short. 3 to 5 years is a reasonable opportunity for us to look at where this district needs to be. And we have put together, it is our major project for this year, a strategic planning committee that's going to look at everything from curriculum to buildings to security to community relations, things that will help us redefine where we need to be so that our children have the best opportunity to the best education worthy of your commitment to this town. We're going to hear a little bit more about that this evening, and in doing so, and before I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, I want to introduce some individuals that are in the audience who are critical to the functioning of this school. We are a board of education of 9 people. Not one person is any more important than anyone else. We are elected by you, and we are responsible and should be able to handle your needs and your concerns. This evening in the audience is Mr. Todd Simmons, Meredith Shaw, and Susanna Chu. We also have, I believe I saw him, Councilman Hughes. Where is he? I did see him. And we're also very lucky this evening to have our Assemblywoman, Nancy Pinkin. So again, I welcome you to the East Brunswick School District. Please take advantage, ask questions, tour the facility. We spend a lot of money and a lot of time committed to education. Please pick our brains because there's a lot there and we can't possibly get that all out in the evening. But we're always at your disposal, and should you have any questions, we're all available. Welcome to East Brunswick and Dr. Victor Valeski.
Thanks. I'm going to make sure this is off. How's everyone? Thanks for coming out. And so Dr. Cohen introduced some board members. I wanted to take the opportunity. He had one board member who snuck in the back over here. Lori Lax, just raise your hand. You're a board member. Thank you. So this is our inaugural State of the District address. I misspoke yesterday in an administrative meeting. I said, this is our first annual, and I was corrected later that night by one of my staff saying, no, it's inaugural. So that's what it is, and we hope this to grow. I would like this to be an annual thing, and it's about being transparent with our community and telling you what we've done and what we plan to do. So let us go ahead and take a little journey here. First of all, what you see on the screen is the seal of East Brunswick Public Schools, and the significant part about this is we are nationally recognized. And we are very proud of that fact, as Dr. Cohen stated. And that recognition goes on every single document that we produce. Every letterhead, every business card, it is who we are. Just like the Golden Arches, you don't have to have the word McDonald's when you see the Golden Arches. You know it's McDonald's. When you see that, you know it's us. When you come to work here as a staff member, or when you come here as a student, you don't see black and white. You see green and white. And that's what we're about. We couldn't do this in isolation. So we have some great partners that work with us to make sure that the resources for your students are provided in ways that other districts may not be able to do it. First and foremost is our PTA group. Our PTAs throughout all of our schools are really, they're an army of volunteer parents that put together phenomenal programs educationally and experiences for students and materials that we can't provide for in our current budget. So they do a great job at every single one of our schools. The East Brunswick Education Foundation, and to date has raised nearly $2 million in grants that they've redistributed back to teachers directly for the benefit of students. And I saw Jack Levitt here. Jack, where are you? President of East Brunswick Education Foundation. In the East Brunswick Education Association, typically in public school settings, you will find that the teachers union and the administration don't necessarily work in harmony all the time. I have to tell you that we consider EBEA partners with the school district. And I hope they do think of us the same way. Actually, the president of the association, Dr. Dana Zimbicki, worked with us tonight to provide the food that you had in the cafeteria prior to this event. She and I meet on a regular basis, and she is a full-time president of EBEA, and she was formerly a very respected social studies teacher right here in this facility. So we enjoy the partnership with them. So what I thought I would do tonight is really take you on a really quick 180-day journey. I'm going to give you a snapshot of what has really happened here in East Brunswick over the last school year. So I'm going to take you by the numbers. Let me give you the overview. So we are the 28th largest school district in the state, and that's among over 600 districts in the state of New Jersey. We have a population of students and staff approaching 10,500. We represent a significant portion of East Brunswick Township. And we operate a transit system that rivals many small cities. So let me take you on this quick journey. We had one student selected to attend the Governor's School of Engineering. Josh Marshalick #1 tennis player, singles tennis player in the state. 2 East Brunswick students selected to attend the Governor's School in the Sciences. 3 first-place winners in the Congressional Art Competition. 9 unpaid volunteer school board members who contribute significant amounts of their personal lives to making sure that your schools run efficiently and are well funded. We have a 9-2 season for our girls' swimming season, and they are GMC champions this year. 9th in the nation is where our students placed in the We the People competition, We the People, the Citizen, and the Constitution in Washington, D.C. 10-2 was the girls' golf season record. We had 11 musicians qualify for all Eastern music ensembles. We have, and we continue to have, all 11 of our schools, Blue Ribbon schools. 15-7-1 was our girls' soccer season record, with the GMC championship as well. You see a theme here. Boys' tennis season was 15-4. 17 students at the high school named finalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program. 25 musicians qualified for all state ensembles. 37th out of 3,000 was the position the coding club in the AP Computer Science class of the high school finished in the Carnegie Mellon Computer Science Challenge in their first year of competition. That's stunning. 42 students qualified for the CJMEA Regional Music Ensembles in grades 9 through 12. 44 students qualified for the same organization Elementary Honor Ensembles. 48 students qualified in the Intermediate Music Ensembles. 48 students in the Rutgers Waxman program with their scientific research published. 50% of our certified staff have advanced degrees, meaning they have master's degrees or higher. We have a number of staff members who hold doctorates. 130th out of 500 was the ranking of our high school by Newsweek magazine earlier this year. 133 inductees into the National Honor Society. Some of those representatives are here tonight providing ushering services as part of a service exercise and part of their give back to the school. Along with Dr. Cohen, I had the honor of watching 310 students receive presidential awards for academic excellence. And our students in volunteer efforts collected 5,950 pounds of food for the Middlesex County Foods Program. The heart of what we do is education. It's at the center of everything, and everything behind it supports that mission, education. And we can never forget that. So here's a flock of geese flying. And if you know something about geese, there is a lead goose in this formation, and he flies or she flies for a while, and when they get tired, they go to the back of the flock, and they let somebody else take that position. So here's what's different about East Brunswick Public Schools than that picture. We are committed to providing the resources and the energy to stay in front all the time. We do not want to relinquish the lead. And how do we do that? Earlier this year, we launched the EQB equation. So I gave every staff member the authority to look at every component of anything under their supervision or their ownership, to examine every single condition, and to explore opportunities to improve anything in the academics, the athletics, or the arts. But here was the dilemma. You had to engage all the appropriate stakeholders if you were going to change something into a consensus decision-making process. That means involving a lot of people. And the requirement was you have to benchmark the results with real data. Not about emotion, not about feeling, data. That's what drives our decisions. And out of that came a renewed focus in technology, instructional technology. We had engaged in technology before I became superintendent, but certainly now we understand we're in the digital age and we're preparing students for the 21st century. So that renewed focus showed up in a variety of settings. And students were engaged in instructional activities where their teachers had managed to create environments for them to share, collaborate, experiment using devices we had. But then we chromed it up a little bit. We launched Chromebooks this year, and about 1,700 Chromebook devices showed up in our schools. And we're planning to launch another round of Chromebook purchases for this school year as well. And as soon as they came out of the boxes, as soon as they got charged in their docking stations and got in the hands of students, this is what happened. They started collaborating and they started sharing. Literally, after we opened the Chromebooks, we had third graders who were using Google Docs and sharing information with their teacher. We were finally catching up to what our students were already using outside of school. And that's been the dilemma, because we are quickly going to be educating the generation of iPad before potty training. It's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. You know students who have had a touch on a device before they were potty trained. And their expectation for the use of technology will not slow down. And so it doesn't matter what age we are. It doesn't matter what our tech savviness is. We have to keep up, and we have to provide those resources to them. Otherwise, we won't keep them engaged. So in addition to technology, another initiative that we launched this year was really kind of putting a new face on our child nutrition program. It wasn't just about being healthier. It wasn't about, that was important, certainly. But how do you get students to actually like eating lunch at school? Well, you make it look like this. This wasn't my cafeteria when I was in high school. And this is just one station at the high school, tortilla station, that represents the big change that Aramark brought to our district. Aramark is a food service management company and provider that operates nationwide, or actually internationally. And so it was a facelift to the physical environment, but it was also a facelift to the food. And when I tell you we quality control it, members of the board actually go out and they taste test the food. And the feedback they have given us has actually improved products already. And again, it's about the presentation. The food is better. And sometimes the students are critical of the food, but we listen to them. We actually pay attention to what they have to say. And once again, and you notice the display in the back where students, this is at the high school, where students can actually see the menu on the video display, and they can actually move around and make selections so that a large volume of students get served in a very short period of time. So in a 25-minute window, students are served, seated, eat lunch, and dismissed. It's a very effective operation. In large part to the administration of the high school, Dr. Vanell and his staff do a great job, but also because of the efficiency of this new system. We're about physical fitness too. And we've invested, and along with contributions from the PTA, in playground equipment where students get to not only exercise, but to demonstrate their flexibility, their agility, and to just get out and socialize with their friends. This is at Frost Elementary School, and this is at Memorial Elementary School in the interior. Now, a lot of people think that because of our program, because of what we expect of our students, that our students are simply just hanging on. And that's not the case. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because guess what? We have the arts program. And our students, a lot of our students who are engaged in very high course loads are engaged in the arts program as well. If you get the chance to see a student performance by any of our groups, whether it be elementary school, middle school, junior high school, come and watch them progress. And what you'll see is when they get to the high school, their performances rival that of any professional group. And many of our students are actually professionally trained and receive professional training outside of school. But our staff does a phenomenal job of providing these opportunities for students. And those opportunities exist in other schools where students may get to experiment or research or explore in the arts where they didn't even know they had an interest or a talent. And that's really what it's about, allowing students that experimentation and offering them opportunities to figure out, do they like something? Is this a path they'd want to pursue? You just never know. So students learn discipline because they know that practice is required to get it right. And one of the things that I mentioned before about EBEF is through their grants, students have been offered opportunities to perform alongside professional musicians and artists. And this is actually Ball in the House. This was an a cappella group that performed right here at EB PAC. They did workshops with the students during the day, and then the students performed alongside of them that night in a concert. It was phenomenal. And the students loved every minute of it. You may have heard about something called PARC. So let me clarify. PARC did not mean that we parked our educational program while we administered an assessment. No, PARC is really a state-mandated assessment that stands for Partnership for the Assessment of Readiness for College and Career. So while we were mandated to roll this assessment out, we certainly had some challenges. We had to make sure the infrastructure for the technology that we used to support the administration of this assessment was robust enough that it wasn't going to fail or drop. And I'm happy to tell you that through a lot of planning, a lot of angst, and a lot of hard work by a lot of people, we didn't have one single tech glitch that resulted in any issue with PARC. But we realized we have some planning issues we have to address, and through the addition of more technology, we want to make sure that we can administer the assessment next year in a more seamless fashion that will not impact the instructional program as much. That's our mission, that's our goal. So one of the things we did this year was a modification of the Media Center at the high school. And the Media Center was an open space, and it was divided up into more structured learning environments. So this just isn't for testing, this is actually for instruction. And you notice the whiteboard and the LCD projector in the back of the room. So teachers can actually utilize these spaces just like they would their classrooms. And the curtains move back and they can modify a classroom into a larger classroom or combine spaces. So it allows us a very, very flexible space. And the Media Center at the high school, as Dr. Vanilla can attest, is a highly utilized facility, very popular facility. And as we got ready for PARC, our staff were engaged in making sure that we had answered all the questions before the test rolled out, so we didn't have those issues. There was a lot of pre-planning going on here, a lot of behind-the-scenes work. And great credit to the staff for that. So another priority of the board and a priority of mine this year was making sure our schools were as safe as they possibly could be. It continues to be a mission, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But for now, when you walk up to one of our schools, this is not a retinal scan, by the way, but you do have to smile nice because that's a camera, and you have to smile nice and push the button in order to be greeted by one of our lovely security aides in the building. And that gets you into the first layer of the building, just as you noticed here at Hammersholt. And then once you provide identification and sign in, you're allowed into the building in a controlled environment, a controlled access, whether it's being monitored around the building or we can monitor by camera. So what's the next phase of this? Visitor access systems is the next phase, and it will be a card swipe system that will actually search a national database. And so as visitors come to the school, that card swipe will indicate whether or not there is a warrant for arrest, whether there's a child custody issue, or some other flag that says to us, this person shouldn't be in our building. And they don't get past the second layer of doors. So that's on for implementation this year. But that is going to involve additional security, technology in the background to help support it. As Dr. Cohen mentioned, with Council President Hughes here, we have started, or not started, we've started to continue to develop the relationship with the township. Mayor Stahl and I meet on a routine basis, and we talk about opportunities to really utilize the resources of both of our entities together for the benefit of taxpayers of East Brunswick. So if we're doing something the township could use, or the township is doing something we could utilize, we try to talk about it and see if there are opportunities to share and exchange. So in addition to the township, we also enjoy, along with Assemblywoman Pinkin, who's here tonight, we enjoy a great relationship with our state legislators, Senator Barnes, Assemblyman Dignan, as well as our Congresswoman, Congresswoman Watson Coleman. So we have relationships with all of these people because they have supported us, and we enjoy working with them. They have been very supportive of education. So the heart of what we do is student learning. That should be no doubt in anyone's mind. That's backed up by a very strong curriculum that's delivered by a talented instructional staff. And we use a variety of assessments as a data repository to try to drive every decision for instruction that we make. But we spice it up a little bit by taking the learning outside. And then let's mix in a little research. How about some experimentation and testing? And top it with a lot of collaboration. And this is what you get. Scholarly output. Our students will rise to the challenges that we put in front of them. And they consistently impress us. And our athletic department, the very values of athletics, continue to support our academic pursuits. Determination, a vision for where you want to go, extreme focus, and even taking time to celebrate your successes. As a matter of fact, a lot of our athletes are scholars as well. And they're an impressive group of individuals. And sometimes, at the culmination of their high school career, our athletes sign letters of intent at signing day with athletic scholarships to major colleges and universities where they're going to showcase their talent even beyond East Brunswick Public Schools. Another proud moment for their families and for us as well. And our athletes, along with many of our students, are involved in community programs and give back. And that's one of the hallmarks of our student population here at East Brunswick, is service to community. So, we believe in making a difference every single day. That's what we plan to do every day we show up here. And every night we stay late to do the work that we need to do to make sure that your students get the best possible education that we can provide for them. Our teachers engage in high levels of professional development, and a lot of it is on their own time. Never forget that, our teachers are professionals in every sense. Leaders leading leaders. Our teachers actually deliver some of that professional development to their peers. But here's one unknown fact about our teachers. They sometimes work so hard during the day, they literally overheat. I'm not kidding, they overheat. And the only way you can suppress that heat is by an ice bath at the end of the day. This is actually the Ice Bucket Challenge at Central School at the beginning of the school year. So our teachers are giving back to community as well. So, our district is comprised of 8 different elementary schools that reside in different parts of the community. And from their exterior, each one is uniquely different. And if you walk into them, you'll notice the culture inside the building is somewhat different than the others. But know that each of the elementary schools within our district, regardless of the look, regardless of the culture, is a blue ribbon school. And that transition really culminates with where you are tonight, moving from elementary school to middle school here at Hammersholt, where the expectations remain high and the responsibility becomes a little greater. And that responsibility and expectation continues to rise as they move on to Churchill Junior High School. And that culminates with their arrival at East Brunswick High School, where they will have the opportunity to engage in a variety of experiences, both or academically, in the arts, and in athletics. They have a chance to grow as much as they want to. We don't put a limit on their growth or their ability to experiment with different things. And so really, the culminating event of every one of your children's lives here at East Brunswick will be graduation. This event will take place next Friday, June 19th, where over 700 students will walk across the stage to receive their East Brunswick diploma. So what's different about East Brunswick than all the other public schools in the state of New Jersey, or many school districts in the nation for that matter? Every school district is challenged with providing their students and preparing their students in an educational setting for a career. But here's where we're different. We're preparing East Brunswick students to create their next career, their own career. Because who knows what the future is going to look like in 5 years, 10 years. And our students will be engaged in businesses, activities, and will be responsible for things we haven't even thought of yet. That's how fast the world is changing. And I believe we have prepared students here at East Brunswick for that, and we will continue to rise to the challenge to provide that opportunity for them, for your children as they move up through the district and the next generation after that. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I do want to thank some people very quickly before you dismiss. I would like to thank our student ambassadors here at Hammersholt who have graciously agreed to lead the tours if you want to go and investigate the fabulous Hammersholt Middle School. I want to thank the ushers from the National Honor Society at the high school. They are the sharply dressed individuals you'll see walking around. I want to thank the Board of Education, because without their support, some of the ideas I've had this year wouldn't go anywhere. The administrative team, a lot of whom are here tonight, we've had a great year together this year, and I couldn't have done it without you and without your support. And last, but probably the most important, is our teachers. How many teachers are in the room tonight? Would you stand up, please? We could not do obviously there wouldn't be anything to do without them, because they are the hallmark of what we do here at East Brunswick. I get the great job of standing up here and doing this presentation, but the people that make it happen every day in the classroom are the single most important people in this organization. So thank you very much for what you do. And I have to thank the group of people that help behind the scenes to pull all this together, from my office, and Beth Warren, John McMenamin in the background in the booth, have been instrumental in helping me put all this stuff and orchestrate everything together. So I appreciate that. And we look forward to doing this again next year. So thank you very much. I hope you spread the word, and maybe we'll fill the house next year. Thanks, and have a great evening.